Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining this presentation about the collaborative process for delivering the Incredible Years programs. There is a large body of research supporting the cognitive social learning and attachment theories underlying the content of the Incredible Years programs. But just as important as the content of the programs are the clinical skills of the Incredible Years group leaders. These skills help motivate and change parents' or teachers' attitudes, emotions, and behaviors. Research shows that group leaders' interpersonal skills, plus their adherence to the intervention protocol, play a big role in participant engagement, satisfaction, and effectiveness of outcomes. Today, I will be discussing the collaborative therapeutic process that the Incredible Years group leaders use of working with parents and teachers, which is part of our training model. But first, let me go back over the basics of the Incredible Years programs for those who are new to them. There are 14 different Incredible Years programs for parents, teachers, and children. They are all in-person or online program deliveries, most commonly delivered in small groups of 8 to 10 parents or teachers, led by trained clinicians referred to as group leaders. The short-term goals for the program include improve parent-teacher-child relationships, reduce harsh discipline, increase social support and reduce their stress. When this is accomplished, this will lead to increased child social competence, emotional regulation, problem solving, and school readiness skills. Ultimately, a goal is to prevent, reduce, and treat social and emotional problems in young children, with the long-term goals being to prevent conduct disorders, school dropout, delinquency, and substance abuse. The Incredible Years programs are among the most rigorously tested programs out there. Over the past 4 decades, my team at the University of Washington, plus independent researchers in over 7 countries, have conducted numerous randomized control group studies. These studies have used validated parent and teacher report measures, as well as independent observations of parents, teachers, and children at home and school. Please see our website for these individual studies. The results have consistently shown that the Incredible Years programs improve positive parenting and teaching interactions, reduce harsh discipline, decrease child problem behaviors, and boost children's social and emotional skills, as well as their readiness for school. 2 studies with diagnosed children found that these positive effects lasted 8 to 10 years after the parent programs ended. A meta-analytics review examining 50 Incredible Years studies indicated successful improvement in child behaviors in a diverse range of families in different countries, and especially those children with the most severe behavior problems. Results indicated better outcomes for diagnosed children with oppositional defiant disorder or attention deficit disorder that combined parent with the teacher and/or the child Incredible Years programs. I am immensely grateful to the National Institute of Health and the U.S. government for funding our research for over 20 years. Here is an example of parents talking about the experiences with the Incredible Years programs.
Yeah.
The parenting strategies in this program have been proven to be effective regardless of the country, language, or culture.
Y puede tu hermana o puedo yo tomar un turno. Okay.
When I went to the first session of Incredible Years, I was shy. Over the time, I slowly opened up and had a few laughs, and I met some really cool people. For me, I learned that there's no right or wrong way of being a parent. Also learning more tools that can help with my kids' futures. It's a good deal.
Where does this go?
I think it goes encouraging in a positive way.
Julián, mírame. Era lo que yo quería lograr, saber cómo podría conectar con mi hijo para que él fuera un poco menos enojón y más accesible. La clase fue como una flecha que me lanzaron en mi cabeza. Oye, ¿necesitas hacer esto?
It was just nice to put the language to what we were doing. Like when you're setting limits or being trying to be more positive versus negative, giving them choices, and also just having a little bit more the perspective from my kid too, from the children. And I really appreciated that.
Why you make this? So having this parent group is very helpful, and then especially the parents are coming from very similar backgrounds, going through the same struggles and same like challenges that you're having. I found that's helpful.
Okay. After doing the Incredible Years program,
Like
really
that?
engaging in like child-led play, letting them pick what you're doing, and then narrating what they're doing to sort of signal that I'm watching you, I'm learning from you, and then they're learning from me, was really influential in how I engage in play and how I parent.
What kind of things do you like to do? Maybe sleep.
There's so many powerful parts of Incredible Years, but a lot of it is the way that Incredible Years invites you to think it through on your own, not just telling you do this, but letting you think about the important questions and what you want your kids to learn, thinking about how do kids learn things, and then incorporating that into the way that you parent. You brought a great friend. Incredible Years has really shaped the way that I try to reflect and model and shape behaviors rather than teach behaviors. Lena, thank you. That was such nice sharing. It's not just doing new skills every week. It's really understanding in a different way and accepting the reality of parenting more, that it's hard and we can keep at this.
As I mentioned earlier, there is a large body of literature and research supporting the theories underlying evidence-based content of each of the Incredible Years programs. First, let's review these content areas in the Incredible Years programs. The Incredible Years Pyramid provides a roadmap for people to follow the program, and it illustrates the sequence of strategies or tools they will learn. There are slightly different pyramids for each of the Incredible Years parent and teacher program that cover the sequence and content. As this Incredible Years parenting pyramid shows, we start by building a strong adult-child relationship foundation at the bottom of the pyramid. The pyramid means a lot to participants. In several of my parent groups, when we did our celebration at the end of the program, they brought cakes or cupcakes with titles on them of different parts of the pyramid. I remember one parent saying, "I need to eat the praise cupcake as I want to do more of that." Now, let's look more specifically at some of the tools parents learn to build their children's social, emotional, and cognitive competence. Participants learn effective evidence-based tools which are delivered in a collaborative way. These include child-directed play, coaching methods, puppet and pretend play, interactive reading, labeled praise, and loving actions. Participants also learn positive behavior management principles, such as serve and return conversations, positive modeling, shaping, prompting, and the importance of having fun. Evidence shows that these tools and principles are very effective at promoting attachment and positive child behaviors. Similarly, participants learn evidence-based tools to reduce children's challenging behaviors. Some of these include setting up consistent rules and routines, using clear commands, offering choices when possible, using ignore, distract, and redirect approaches, teaching children self-regulation strategies, and logical and natural consequences. Participants select the tools that dovetail with their goals for their children. A discussion theme used throughout all the group sessions includes tools parents or teachers can use to manage their own anger and depression, build support networks, problem solve, and stay patient. Parents and teachers learn how to collaborate with each other using effective communication. Parents and teachers are always surprised when we role play their negative thoughts and feelings and learn that they are universal. Social, emotional learning is not just for children, it helps the parents and teachers too. Children's physical, cognitive, social, and emotional abilities vary widely in the early years. Each child is unique. Some babies crawl at 7 or 8 months, and some pull to stand and walk, while others wait to 1 year. Physical and language expression is so different from one child to the next. They can be advanced in one area and not in another. For example, my 3-year-old grandson is riding a pedal bike, while his older cousin is not ready and still riding a balance bike. That's all normal. Group leaders help participants use the tools that are appropriate for each child's developmental level, focusing on the optimal ways to strengthen children's healthy brain development. Now, leaders can know all of this information, but it is how they deliver it that is equally as important. How do we get parents and teachers to use these various tools? For example, how do group leaders respond to resistance to using a new tool? How do they respond to a lack of motivation to do assignments or read chapters? What principles guide the group leader's approach when working with more complex families, such as those from different cultural backgrounds, or families whose children have developmental delays and various diagnoses? How collaborative, flexible, or prescriptive should the group leader's approach be? Next, I will be discussing some of the group leader methods and interpersonal processes shown in research to make all the difference in achieving successful outcomes. Write down what you think makes your approach collaborative. Did you get any words like these? Active, flexible, sensitive, self-reflective, non-blaming, non-hierarchical. A reciprocal relationship based on trust, respect, and open communication. A good group leader acknowledges that expertise is not solely the property of the group leader. Participants are experts regarding their children. Okay, we talked about how the collaborative process, the aim is to make this learning fun. And one of the ways to do that is to use puppets. And so here are a couple of my puppet friends. Hi. I've been thinking about this collaboration stuff. As a puppet, what would I do? Oh, good question. Well, I think you would just ask people how they feel and maybe ask them what their ideas are. Oh, I see. Is that all it is? Just getting to know them better with my puppet? That's right. So it's as simple as that, bringing puppets in a collaborative way so the parents know how to use them to explore questions and ideas and feelings. Why is the collaborative model important? I believe this approach empowers participants. Our research has shown that post-Incredible Years program delivery, there are significant increases in parent and teacher confidence and self-efficacy, as well as reduction in their stress and depression compared with control participants. The self-reflective and problem-solving discussion allows participants to discover many answers and to own their solutions. Let's look at how collaboration allows for tailoring to individual family goals. The program starts with group participants determining their goals for their children and themselves. This helps to personalize the learning as participants practice strategies to achieve their specific goals. The pacing of the learning is determined by the background, language, and prior experience and culture of the participants. Tools used are chosen based on the child's developmental level. For example, we would not be teaching a parent or teacher to use problem solving or time out to calm down with a toddler, as they are not cognitively ready for this learning. The specific language coaching strategies used will depend on the language and play level of each child. Our program has always addressed participants' thoughts and feelings as much as their behaviors. They address different learning styles with a variety of methods, such as discussion, self-reflection, video modeling, experiential practice, reading, journaling, and weekly assignments. The collaborative process leads to greater participant understanding and confidence. This is partly because the group leader expects participants to succeed and tailors their approaches to individual goals, recognizing their strengths, praising their efforts, insights, and progress. Additionally, the collaborative approach helps participants understand normal developmental milestones and to have realistic expectations for each unique child. Group leaders guide the group to develop the guidelines for safety, confidentiality, respect, and sharing space for all to communicate. They encourage participants to share long-term goals. This leads to group awareness of common goals, which increases group sense of support. They set limits and remind participants of time management. The group leader explains the predictable structure that sessions will follow, such as sharing weekly assignments, discussing video clips, problem solving, and setting up group practices. This structure helps the group maintain respect and have a positive tone. The group leader does not treat participants' lack of follow-through as resistance, but works to understand the barriers that make change difficult. Many parents and teachers have trouble finding the time to do some of the recommended activities. I have found that when they realize they can practice these strategies during brief daily interactions, they are often surprised to find they have more time because the children feel secure in their relationship. The group leader recognizes the participant as an expert on their child's responses and helps them find the best approach. Tools may need to be customized according to the participant's family circumstances, culture, and beliefs. Here is an example of an interview of parents talking about the cultural relevance of the Incredible Years approach.
In my parent group, we had people from Chinese culture, tradition, people, Spanish, Latin background. So there were different other cultural groups. And I did feel it was culturally sensitive because the good parts you want to keep. And I think that's what I love about the curriculum and Incredible Years, that you're able to keep, you know, things that you want to keep in your tradition and culture.
How you were raised is how the next generation is supposed to be raised. And I didn't want to do that because I knew how it affected me, how it affected my friends. I now have something other than what my parents taught me or what I learned from my family as far as parenting. I'm now creating my own list of things to do.
It's not like it's taking away anything or it's replacing anything. To me, I feel like it's adding to what you already know and just giving you more tools. And I think a lot of parents, they need that. Like sometimes you just are stuck. Because the situations that we talked about were universal, you know, it was the same. It's like your kids are fighting, they're arguing, they're whining, they're not expressing themselves. They're just screaming, you know, and having tantrums and things. We were all experiencing that. So I felt like we had a good place, a common ground. And I think that, you know, transcends all cultures, is to be able to talk to other parents who are going through similar things and have that support. Even after the program, you know, some of the parents we recognize each other when we'd go pick up our kids and like, thank you so much for talking about such and such. I was dealing with that too.
What does it mean to be culturally responsive? Respect and affirm cultural differences and promote a culturally sensitive group atmosphere. Make culture visible and recognize its importance in relationship building and helping children develop a healthy identity. Honor each parent's goals for themselves and their children. Use puppets, toy characters, books, songs, foods, and games that reflect the diverse cultures of the families. Hi, I am Lucy Love. I have a question, Carolyn. Yeah, what's your question? Well, you talk about being collaborative. How can puppets be collaborative? What can I do? Oh, that's a really good question. Well, you could work with the parents to ask the questions, like, how do I feel? Oh, you mean I can say, how do you feel now? And have them talk about their feelings? That's exactly right. Thanks for bringing that question up. Long-time accredited Incredible Years group leader and mentor Lisa Haruini explains how the program complements her Māori culture.
Incredible Years, it's more affirming in that it adds to the value and that it helps us to get really specific how we communicate things like feelings and social skills. Yeah. It helps us to take what we're already doing and enhance it even more. What I really like about Incredible Years is that it's very specific, it's very clear. Thank you for sharing, it's so cool. And look at you, Te Rangiho, you're sharing too. With Incredible Years, we are actually giving the actual words. I really like the way that you shared.
If possible, have one leader who represents the main culture of the group. Use trained interpreters and work collaboratively with them so that the meaning of the program content is understood. I am excited to have received a research paper from 2 investigators in Iran at the University of Kurdistan using the Incredible Years parent program with promising results. Stay tuned for the published paper on the website. The Incredible Years has always worked to be inclusive. Currently, the basic 1.0 you are using is being updated with more diverse families. Here are some examples of the new Incredible Years parents you will meet. In this interview, you will see some parents who are reflecting on the cultural relevance of the program for their family.
The newcomers should have a lecture about parenting. This issue is not easy.
How cool you down yourself for those when you feel angry?
Teaching the self-control, it's not part of our culture and have not done a lot of that. Learning it is important.
So when I am mad, I usually just let go of my frustration and my madness.
The culture you come with is a little bit different from the culture you are coming in.
We're teaching our kids to be successful here. They have to be able to carry themselves in a way that will impact them positively in life.
So Oscar can tell story to his dad about his friend?
Yes.
So, and those are parts of how you get into conflict, how you solve the conflict, and how can you control yourself and your emotions.
Because parenting is a big issue. That builds a family. A family builds a community will build a country will build a world. That it starts from the parenting.
To take the toolkit metaphor further, what are the collaborative tools that group leaders use to promote participants' learning? First tool is building positive relationships. We have talked about some of these, so let me dig a bit deeper and highlight a few of the relationship building strategies. First, providing bilingual services. Be sure to train your translators in the program first. Encourage partner involvement, be a grandparent, aunt, or spouse, or someone involved in your child's life. Teachers should involve their assistant. Make personal connections weekly through check-in Zoom calls. Assign buddies with similar goals or those who have children at similar developmental levels. This builds support networks. And it's important to get to know the parents' children. One way we find it helps to learn about the participants' children is to have them complete the How I'm Incredible form on their child. Each room in the house includes information about the child's home structure, language and play level, likes and dislikes, temperament, and goals. This can be put on the wall with a picture of the child and added to in subsequent sessions. Here is an example of a child named Kalani. A second collaborative tool is helping participants build their support team by sharing their experiences each week, problem solving with each other, celebrating successes, following group agreement, engaging in small group buzzes, and making buddy calls each week. Some group leaders like to use the Hand Support Network handout. During the sessions, we help participants build awareness of their support network and who can help them in different situations, such as family members, teachers, healthcare providers, and neighbors or coworkers. Promoting participant engagement is key throughout the group sessions. Research indicates that Incredible Years dropouts are pretty low. We've already talked about some engagement strategies. Here are a few key elements of that process. To acknowledge participant progress, group leaders give out prizes for attendance and successful home or classroom assignments. They pull out principles from participants' ideas to promote self-reflection learning and put them on the flip chart with their names on them. They help participants tailor weekly assignments with the self-monitoring checklists and personal goals that are realistic given their situation and family context. They check in each week with participants regarding their goals and respond to their session evaluations. Here is an example of what the self-monitoring checklist looks like. Participants make decisions as to what goals they want to work on each week and record this on the self-monitoring checklist. Incredible Years group leaders maintain engagement by following up immediately with those who miss sessions and offer make-up sessions. They encourage buddy calls. Ask a buddy to call a parent who misses a session to share what they've learned and let them know they were missed. Provide daycare, transportation, and dinners as needed. Sometimes families can benefit by including the Incredible Years Child Dinosaur program and/or the Incredible Years Home or online coaching. Rather than showing a video in a passive way where participants sit and watch and listen, the video vignettes are used in a collaborative way to promote participant reflection and problem solving. Notice where I pause the vignette, what questions I ask, and how I pull out principles. So we're going to see what it is that we like about the way he's playing and what would make this seem to be child-directed.
All right, you got
This class not supposed to be down here, they're supposed to be up here.
All right, we have some blue clouds and some, we'll pretend they're clouds, right? Colorful clouds.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, put the fence there. Oops. Now what is this? What is this sound?
What do you want to do with that?
It's right here.
That's good. Yeah, gotta have a church near the barn.
I know. So I want people, because the farm, if we had one more.
One more piece of, yeah, well, that'll do. People will know that's the church right there. Okay, we got another duck here.
Okay. What did you notice about what this father was doing? Seemed child-directed.
When he was asked the question, he took it back to the child. Said, "What do you think it is?" Or what?
Yeah. So the boy said, "What? Where does this go?
What would you like to do with it?"
And you noticed that he asked him, "What do you think the impact is of him not answering him, but saying, what do you want to do with it?"
Yeah. I think it made the child probably feel important and like his opinion mattered.
Yeah, right. It was really giving him the sort of ownership of the idea. What would it be made him feel important, but what also was it encouraging in this child?
His own creative process.
His own creative process. Yeah, fantastic. I think we have a principal for sure. All right, we have one here. You are incredible, and this is Meg. Meg's principle, what are we going to call it? Meg's principle is?
Supporting the child's creative process.
Supporting the child's creative process. That's a great idea. Here, you can see I asked open-ended questions, probed their responses to clarify the value of the father's approach, and pulled principles out of their responses. Also, I used praise and stickers to acknowledge the value of their insights. Now, watch how this discussion continues.
Maybe supporting his own independence. I know that was one of your goals. It was on there. Because if we tell them where it goes, what does that do for the child?
Takes away their opportunity for discovery. That time.
That time took away.
And then it has to get set up for the next time, and that could get delayed as well. So every time we fill in the blank for the child, it delays their own discovery.
And they wait for the adult to answer all their questions.
Yeah. Maybe they think they can't do it without the adult doing it for them.
Did you notice that I referred back to the parent's goal to promote their child's independence? This is very important for participants to understand how the principle relates to their own goal for their child. You can see how with further discussion, we elaborated on the value of allowing children to discover things on their own for promoting independence. Did you see how this collaborative approach to showing the video vignettes promoted participant self-reflection and discovery of principles? Here are some of the key group leader collaborative processes. Group leaders pause video introduction to explain terms and check understanding of key concepts. Set up a vignette focus. Pause a vignette several times for reflection, buddy buzzes, scripting, and praise. Ask probing questions about vignettes to prompt self-reflective learning and discovery of principles. Tailor questions and insights to participant goals and culture. Here are some examples of questions group leaders can ask that promote collaboration and self-reflection. What is effective about this for your child or your relationship? What are the benefits of this strategy used by this parent or teacher? What is the principle here? Do you see this principle or idea as being helpful for your child and your goals? And so forth. Buzz forms are used in groups. Participants are asked to write in their goals for the phrases they want to use when using coaching strategies. Leader and co-leader model being collaborative with each other as well as with the group participants. The leader will lead the vignette discussion, asking open-ended questions, while the co-leader records key points and gives out rewards, adds new points when relevant, summarizes learning and principles. The leader sets up the role-play practice, and the co-leader follows the lead of the primary leader. Leaders and co-leaders can switch roles from one session to another. The key point is that the dance between leader and supportive co-leader is well choreographed. Sort of like trying to dance with someone, you both can't be in charge with how the steps go. So you can see in this picture, I'm leading and my co-leader is writing down ideas. Here is an example of the co-leader summarizing key points the group came up with related to prior discussion.
Simply supporting the child's creative process by using the discovery principle that the group came up with, kind of asking the child what he thinks and showing him how the father really modeled how to wonder. And then we talked about Dina's approval principle, where Dina talked about how the father praised the child's choices and ideas, and this may help the child increase their self-esteem.
Experiential role plays or practices set up in a collaborative way are key to program success. First, it's important to explain the rationale for doing role play practices. That is, you can say, with practice, we can try out the strategies and refine them. The more we try it out, the more we learn. You're getting it out of your head and into actual behaviors. People are resistant to role play at first, but then they come to love them. In setting up the role play practice, the group leader explains how this practice will address their goals. Group leader chooses participants to practice. They establish the roles of the child and parent or teacher in the scenario, review the key points and principles from the chart and group discussion. And then, ready, set, action, they go forward with the practice and pause action to debrief, reflect, praise, or offer new ideas. Sometimes you replay the practice using new group suggestions. After large group practices are completed, then groups break into small group practices. This ensures that everyone is engaged and practicing. The group leaders select participants for small group practices in triads and clarify the roles for parents, teachers, and children. When selecting, I often choose by age and developmental level of the child. For example, coaching methods will be different for parents of a 7-year-old versus a 3-year-old. Pause practices as needed for clarification. Ask one participant to be the coach or the observer and give positive feedback to the person in role as parent or teacher. I laugh when I see this cartoon picture. I always loved playing the role of the deviant child. It was fun, but actually it's better learning if the parents act out what their own child is doing. The group leader models skills as needed when coaching small groups, encourages their small steps, keeping it simple and being patient with the learning process. Model with only one child at a time to begin with. Debrief the learning from practices afterwards in the large group and define needs for further practices. These small group practices are valuable and rated very highly.
Who's our observer?
So you were
the observer?
Very attentive, completely focused on her. Everything you said was descriptive. When you weren't descriptive, you were participating in the play with her. I'm going to roll the truck back to you now. You gave her tons of language. That's the wheel. You took the wheel off, put the wheel back on. Bracelet, purse. I mean, she gave you vocabulary for everything. Even when you laughed about, oh, that is
Like, I was just putting a thing on her arm. Because that's what I was thinking of, to how to decorate her. And
suddenly it became a purse.
And it felt very natural for you just to be like, this is your child, and you sit and you play with her all the time, and you describe what she's doing.
Yeah.
And you give her lots of vocabulary.
Mm-hmm. How did it feel to you?
Like I was having fun, even though I didn't have the vocabulary and maybe things that maybe I'm watching my siblings or the other kids do and I don't do. I still had fun with Mom because you were very animated as well.
Your voice.
So it wasn't like the monotone, I believe that you were having fun. Even though I was limited in my skills.
You didn't think that you were boring. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it would really help facilitate a lot of her language development. And I know that's something that you want with your child to bring that. So you can do lots of that. And when she starts saying a few things, then you can tailgate it a little bit. Spin off of it, even imitate it. But for now, since she's not saying too much, what I thought was really good about was your pacing was good. You left a little chance for her to say something, didn't you?
Integrated throughout these discussions, group leaders validate participants' ideas and help them to challenge powerless thoughts and promote positive thinking about themselves and their children. For every topic, break out to discuss the benefits of using a specific approach versus the barriers to doing this. This process helps participants look at the short and long-term benefits of a particular strategy. Then group leaders tailor the questions asked with the vignettes to problem-solve ways to overcome obstacles. Group leaders help participants to prepare for and understand setbacks and ways to persist with their consistent approach. We find it valuable for groups to continue to support each other. Many groups have continued to meet after the program ends and maintain supportive friendships years later. Sometimes these bonds are very strong. I have led multicultural groups in Seattle where parents came in not speaking the same language and thinking that they were very different from each other. But in the end, they realized they had a lot in common and became friends. Group leaders encourage participants to praise themselves for their efforts. For example, this chart shows where they can check off things they were able to do that day, such as using a puppet to model emotion coaching or helping a child stay calm. Participants are given summary handouts of session key points. These can be reviewed and added to by participants, or participants can identify the points they want to work on. Group leaders help participants set up their weekly record sheets or behavior plans in a collaborative way. They identify the behaviors they want from their children and the strategies they will use. Participants are given assignments to do at home or in the classroom before the next session. These include practice skills and reading. In summary, the collaborative process promotes participant self-empowerment and problem-solving strategies that they can use in the future. Group leaders can use the collaborative checklist to review videos of their groups to see how collaborative they have been.
I've certainly worked with families who come in feeling like they're at rock bottom with their parenting, that behaviors are completely out of control, parents feeling like they are not in control of their household anymore. And that's a really demoralizing place to start. And the beautiful thing about Incredible Years is, again, the lack of judgment, the lack of lecturing and you must do it this way, but helping people come to their own understanding.
Yeah, wow, Julia.
I think that allows for people to bring their own experience to the table, their own values, how they were parented.
And I have to do it while you do that?
Their own goals for their family and the way they want their family life to be. And we certainly see that there's an enormous night and day change just in parent outlook from before and after the program.
In addition to group leaders supporting parents and teachers, it's important they support each other. This can be done by regular in-person or online sharing of group sessions. Be sure to have a realistic schedule that includes preparing session materials, content, calling families weekly, and doing makeup sessions. Plan celebrations with each other for your success. Thank you for your commitment to supporting teachers and parents with Incredible Years programs.